Welcome to the Omananda podcast, and today I am with Senya, whom I met the first time in Mexico when I was living there in a place called Malinalco. And Senya is a hypnotherapist, a quantum healer, a Mayan astrologer, and a visionary artist. And this is not the first time we've been sitting together in interviews. But now this time we are doing it across the internet since we are quarantining ourselves during this corona crisis. It is the end of March in 2020 right now. And Senya, the art that you create, which are beautiful paintings, transmit information in an energetic way, visually speaking. And you've been very much connected to the transformation of consciousness on the planet, and being a Mayan astrologer, decoding the time of the day here and now in this moment where we are as a collective on planet Earth. What can you tell us about what's happening right now, and what can we do individually and as a collective to use this time as an opportunity to transform consciousness and physically establish a positive mind frame on this planet?
Okay, so first about the questions about the art. I have started painting through sacred geometry and symbolism. When I first started to study the Mayan calendar, I had this great teacher, Aluna Joy Yashkin, which would teach us to activate our own genetic memory. She said, like symbols and the sacred geometry speaks directly to the subconscious. It's not really necessary that the brain understands the form or the pattern, but it will immediately integrate in our consciousness. So for me it was a great tool to transmit information through the symbolism, so everybody can find in it what resonates with one, right? Because I think we're clear about that we all have our own reality and our own symbolism. And I'm very much trying not to put ideas in the heads of the people, but instead showing them and sharing tools so everybody can learn how to decode their own symbolism, right? And about the Mayan calendar, very, very interesting times. I guess everybody knew about the end of the cycle of the Homo sapiens in 2012. There was a lot of confusion about this date. Many people were scared that the world was going to end, but it's not about this. The Earth has different growing cycles, and they are all connected to movements in the universe as we travel through the universe with our solar system, right? So we are kind of hooked into fixed stars, which they influence the energy that is on planet Earth. And since 2012, this great cycle of the Homo sapiens has ended, and we are now in 2020. That means we are 8 years in the beginning of the new cycle of what I call the human galacticus, right? Because we are becoming multi-dimensional beings, and we are still evolving all the potential of our brains. So as everybody knows, we just use very little of our human brain, which is actually just a biological machine that translates the frequencies that are all around us into what we can perceive with our 5 senses. But one should know that these 5 senses, they only capture less than 0.01% of what is actually surrounding us, right? So the Mayan calendar has been a really good guide to understand the cycles that we are dependent from these cycles, right? It's the earth is connected to the sun, and the sun is connected to the central sun of the Pleiades, and that central sun is connected to another one. So there's a big circuit of cycles that are fixed, right? There's like a mathematical formula that the Mayans knew, and this is why they could foretell things and make prophecies, because they knew how to interpret the energies of the constellations and of the days, right? So when we learn to follow these energies, it's much easier for us to be guided and to be in resonance and synchronicity with the natural flow of evolution.
So cycles of time, the Mayan people, and they look very much, when you see this kind of calendar, like mechanical wheels turning in a clockwork. But these are connected to the stars and the solar system and the planet. You say that the Mayans could calculate certain things that come into being, such as solar eclipses, for example, that had a significance there, and cycles that come to an end, which are a renewal in a way. So my question that I have for you is, like, when it comes to prophecies and things that have been told by ancient people that can be linked up around the world, how does that translate into what is happening right now with this corona crisis? How can this be used as a stepping stone for change, and why are so many people afraid right now?
People are afraid because they have lost their connection to their true nature. They have forgotten that they're connected to something bigger, something greater, and that there's a divine plan in work right now. They have been manipulated by education, by conditioning, by the whole history of humans as we come out of the patriarchy, right? We have been taught to think logically with the reason, and this is why the human moved away more and more from the heart space and forgot this connection. So I think this is one of the biggest reasons, and also because from the outside world there's a lot of influence that wants us to be afraid. I have just talked with people about the situation. Like, it seems to be like a season of fear, like the news bring us fear with some subject. Right now it's the coronavirus. A few months ago it seemed like the whole world was gonna burn down, right? A little bit before there were all these manifestations in South America, and a lot of politics movement going on. Then we had the media talking about the global warming, about Greta Thunberg. Can you notice how it's been blown up, like made so big in the news? And it's just, the purpose is only to create this collective fear, which keeps our energy so low that we cannot connect or make our Taurate energy work well and serve as an antenna for the universe in order to channel what we need to do. We are being confused as humans on purpose. It's not about who this is, that it really doesn't matter. What we need to understand, that we live in a condition of duality. This three-dimensional plane of this reality is based on duality. So we will always be in this movement, right? And it's not, I don't consider it something negative. I just consider it a condition that makes us reclaim our powers. We only know and search for those powers if we are, if we are controlled this way, if we don't feel free, if we are manipulated. This makes us search for more well-being, right? To be free, to feel good, to be in the heart center, to have a joyful and meaningful life. So it is definitely necessary to go through darkness, because this is where the tension is created, so we can shoot ourselves forward into the light. I believe it's all a very natural, harmonic, divine plan. I don't think there's any manipulation from something negative, right? It's all part of the plan.
Okay, so you're saying that there is no such things like dark aliens controlling the planet for some selfish purposes, like some people believe, that attract a lot of momentum and create a lot of fear with that. You are connected to some also extraterrestrials that have some beautiful and good messages for the world. Is there any way that you could share some of those messages with us right now that come through you, through the communications that you've received ever since you were a child?
Yes, of course. Thank you. Well, of course, there are beings in lower frequency vibrations. Aliens, same as humans, right? We understand that all living beings come from the same source, and they are all souls on a journey of evolution. So it depends on which level of your universal education, if you want to call it like that, where you are. So as the Earth is a multidimensional place, it is open to receive all kinds of entities. But even if there are lower vibrating entities on the planet that are teaching us the dark side of the duality, right? We can learn through the light side, but we can also learn through the dark side. And this seems to be more popular here on Earth. We learn faster and we remember more the negative experiences, and that makes us look for a change, right? So these lower frequency beings, doesn't matter if they are aliens, if they are humans, we have to get completely out of judgment. This is the message. We need to get out of judging and trying to push the darkness, or whatever you want to call it, the duality. I like to call it the duality. We need to stop pushing it away, because it serves the same purpose as the light. I always say that it's like a coin of two sides, but it's still the same coin. Once in a regression, a client asked, what is the difference between an angel and a demon? And the higher self said, there is actually no difference between them. The angel, what we call angel, is an entity that is trying to guide us. It's guiding us. We have the choice if we can listen to it or if we ignore it. So the more you ignore, one ignores the angel that is guiding us, the more what she called the demon, the subconscious or the higher self actually called it the limiting angels, right? They all work for the same purpose. So when we don't listen to the guide, then the limiting angel comes in, and something in our daily life happens that moves us back to another path. We were on a wrong path. We didn't listen to the intuition and to the guide. And then something happens, which usually a human interprets as something negative, it's as bad luck or as an energetical attack. But there is actually no energetical attack. I was also taught that if you have entities that are kind of sucking your energy, you actually have soul contracts with these beings that come in to teach you where you have a loss of energy in your field, right? So they will be with you as long as you don't find where you're losing your vital energy. once you have figured out where the lack is, then the entity is free to go. But they are also our servants, right? And it's the same thing with this dark aliens or dense aliens, as they call them. They only come in to take the power from us so we can experience how it feels to be a victim and to be powerless, and we go and reclaim that power. They are teaching us to empower us, right? So they are all part of the divine plan. If something is permitted, exists here on this planet Earth, then it is permitted. And there's actually zero judgment from outside of this realm, because everything exists just in order to grow and to learn from mistakes, because that's the way we learn.
And in that sense, that's the purpose of life for us, being incarnated into bodies, right?
Well, I have been told stories about the creation of the universe. I kind of understand the mechanism, so I can give you a short metaphor, if you like, of what I was told. Would you like that? Yeah? So they told me, just imagine the source as a great one unity, okay? Everything exists within that one, and we can imagine it as an ocean. So then the little souls that come out from this source, well, the reason that I was told in the regressions was that the source had a doubt. It had a doubt. What happens if I put light and darkness in the same place? And in the moment when the source thought about this, it actually manifested, and the whole creation started to unroll, right? And then you have all these little aspects of the great ocean with our little drops that are traveling through the universe into all these experiences that are creating themselves and expanding in order to learn and to know itself from the outside, to observe the source from the outside and collect information. And that's the way how the one source grows and knows itself, through the souls that travel out through the incarnations. And every time when we die, we go back to the source and we deliver all these informations of the exploration of unknown worlds that we have visited. So to me, that sounded very true. It resonates very much with me, makes a lot of sense. So we are a mirror of that one source, and we have the same power of manifestation in this reality. And this is what most of the people nowadays don't know. The people who are ruling the world, who are controlling the mainstream and the reality, they know how reality is created. So I was given this 3 questions by the higher self, which they said was like a mental crack to the human beings. They said, just ask the people these 3 questions, and immediately they will start to look for the answers, and this will lead them to the truth. And these 3 questions are: who am I? Where do I come from? And what am I doing here on earth? When you start asking these questions, if you get uncomfortable, it's because you still don't know. You have to find out, and maybe you're still in the world of illusion, right? But when you start asking yourself these questions, then automatically in your reality, by the law of resonance, you will attract things, people, and informations that will bring you these answers. And once you remember who you truly are, who we are as humans, and why we came here on earth, then we can truly start to live the life we came here to live, and to manifest that dream that we all carry as a seed in our heart, that vision that we all have, right?
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow. Can I ask you a personal question?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
On this podcast. What is the answers that you receive for those 3 questions for you?
Oh, well, I know who I am. I have seen myself. I have remembered through my own work, through the regressions. I got to remember my 19 past lives on life and even other past lives on other planets and my origins. And since I'm contacted since I'm 7, I receive a lot of information, and I know that I'm a Pleiadian hybrid uploaded with other genetics so I can fulfill my mission better in this lifetime. I know where I'm from, so that's the origin. I know that I'm an avatar, that my real self is in another dimension, and that I am dreaming myself into this existence of this holographic world to hold a pillar, a vision. I'm holding a vision for the collective so that future can actually manifest itself in this plane. Because what they insist a lot right now, they say we need a lot of pillars who just continue dreaming the future into existence, right? Because if everybody goes into fear and if everybody is lost in their daily material stuff, then who will dream into existence the future? Because we are manifesting creatures, right? We are not only this physical body, we are energetical, bioelectrical beings, and we are totally connected to all these vibrations and frequencies that we are not able to perceive with our 5 senses, right? We know by now, we have learned a lot in these last years about the toroid, about the morphogenetic field, about the laws of the universe, the conditions of reality, the conditions of human existence. So putting all these informations together, we have to find a new way of living and creating this truth in the daily life. And that means, first of all, total trust and faith in divine plan, because it's much bigger than our human life. If we listen to ancient cultures, there have been a lot of civilizations on Earth, right? So every time a civilization fails, something else is created, another possibility, but the planet Earth is still here. That's like the experiment. I always tell the people when they're so scared about Mother Nature, about Mother Earth, Earth is an organism, it's a living being. And if we are still here on the surface, that means that everything is okay. Yeah? She allows us with her unconditional love to give us this playground so we can grow and experience and become the great magicians of this world that we truly are. And I know that I have come here because there was a call made throughout the universe, a call for volunteer souls to help the Mother Earth in her ascension process. And if you look at it from outside, humans are little antennas of the Earth. We are actually part of the whole thing. So we cannot just create our own artificial reality and society and world and move away from nature and then be surprised about something like the coronavirus, which is a natural thing occurring every year, but suddenly it's dangerous for humans. So what does that mean? It means that human is far away from nature. Otherwise, nature wouldn't attack. So for me, the message is very, very clear, not only about this, but also why it's called coronavirus, because we are now connecting our corona chakras. We are asked to connect to our higher self, to remember who we are, and that we have this all-knowing, powerful being up there, which is ourselves, that is able to guide us and to help us to manifest things into this world. It knows everything. It knows everything and it can heal everything. And we can channel it. We have our bodies, our avatar bodies are channels through which we can channel this energy of our higher self. But we need to start doing it. We need to start switching from the mind to the heart, which I call the inner GPS. If we really truly follow our GPS, our heart center, then there is no problem at all. So the first would be the total trust and faith that there's something bigger than me that is guiding me and that knows the whole plan, right? A lifetime, what is it? Just 90, 100 years maybe. That's just a glimpse of the whole history. And we have only this little perspective. So we need to trust that there's something more. Then we need to accept what is happening around us, because we are judging, we are interpreting based on what we have or what was fed in our brains, right? I know that I cannot trust my brain. That's like something important. I use my brain, but the choices and the actions, they should always be inspired by the heart. Even if the mind says that's impossible or you cannot do this. And people many times ask me, okay, how can you have trust in the divine plan, right? How do you trust? Where do you get your faith from that there's something higher, that there are extraterrestrials? I don't see them, right? So I tell people, you need immediate experience. No guru, no teacher will give this to you. So the only way you can get a really strong pillar and really connected to your higher self, I believe, is through immediate experience. So you get an impulse from your heart, from your intuition, or through meditation, however the information comes, you get this information through the higher voice. Now, you can just ignore it, or you can do what it tells you, and then you will see that the universe conspires and it will give you feedback, something which is completely illogical. And I have a lot of examples of this that happened to me in my life, like really crazy stuff they asked me to do, and I just did it, and I got the feedback, right? So I know there's an invisible force that is mighty, powerful, it's full of love, and I just surrender to this. And it's such a liberating feeling, you know, that you don't make any mistake anymore. You don't need to use your brain. You just connect to the heart. Now, we have to be sure that we can recognize which is the true heart channel, right? Now that we are becoming multidimensional beings, there's a lot of influence, mental influence. There are energies and thoughts in the collective. Maybe we capture thoughts from the neighbors through the walls. There's a lot of telepathic activity going on as well. So we need to learn how to identify that guiding voice that each of us has inside, right? And I can tell you it's a very loving voice. It's a funny voice. It always makes us laugh somehow. And then also the biochemical composition of your body. Of course, if I put minerals or chemicals, food in my body or energy around my body that is interfering, then I can get that inner voice, the heart connection voice can be sabotaged. So it's also very important to make clear that you need to keep your channel, your body as natural vibrating as possible. Once we have established our channel with no errors and we can identify it, recognize it, and we follow it, then there's actually no more danger for us outside, because we can take conscious decisions, for example, to eat something that is not so healthy, but as we are conscious and we are aware that it's a holographic universe and reality, we can transform the energy. Some people do that by putting Reiki on their food, right? But I don't say everybody should do this. You should be like advanced in meditation and manifestation, when you do that. If you're just trying to establish that channel, if you're still finding out where it is, it's very recommendable that you drink a lot of water, that you decalcify your pineal gland, that you eat non-processed food, lots of fruit and vegetables.
Divine plan. You spoke of a divine plan and you said that you're a pillar for the vision of the collective. Would you like to share something about what that is, or share that vision?
The vision is the same that we all have, of the Garden Eden, humanity living in joy and love and abundance together in peace in this beautiful created artwork of Mother Earth that we have here on this planet. So we've been talking about cycles. You know, surely you know that we are at the end of the Kali Yuga. And we are also 2 days away from the Mayan Tzolk'in cycle end. In 2 days, 3 days, we will begin a new spiritual cycle in the Mayan calendar. And we know also that is the end of the patriarchy, that we are moving into a more harmonic times of female and male energies. And that we are now in a moment where multi-dimensional gates are opened. Many people ask me, why don't we see the aliens? Why are they not here? Why can't we see them? Well, the Earth has been put into quarantine while we are dealing with duality, while we identify with darkness or light. What we need to understand that we are neither of them. We are not light and not darkness. We are the observer, the I am presence that incarnated here in order to experience that duality. But it's not what identifies us. Because if you're just still and you sit and you watch the proposals of the duality, well, I call them like the little angel and the little devil that we have sitting on the shoulders, right? Once we don't identify with them anymore, we just listen to the proposals they give us 24 hours a day as long as we are awake. But only what we act on actually moves the physical realm, right? If we just sit and don't move and just listen to the light or to the darkness, nothing will happen. So as long as we are experiencing this duality on this plane, we are, as planet Earth and humans, in a cosmic quarantine, right? Because we are not aware yet, as a human race, that we are so powerful manifestators, that we manifest our thoughts. So we are not allowed yet into the higher dimensions to meet our brothers and sisters, because we are still danger for them. If only one of us would enter the 5th dimension with a negative thought, we can destroy all the higher realms, right? So this is why we are here experiencing and practicing. And once we get into that, what I call the Holy Trinity, the observer, the one I am presence that is observing and acting inside of the duality consciously, then we can ascend into the 5th dimension, when there's no more judgment, when there's absolute unconditional love, understanding, right? And another factor is also that we just move into the photon ring in the universe, right? We have also this big cycle, which also the Mayan calendar explains, that we always go 10,000 years through the darkness, and then we come for 2,000 years into the golden age, and then we move again out of that photon ring. We know that photons are light codes. In the light is the information, and the information comes in form of sacred geometry patterns, and we absorb it through our skin into our genetic. This is how we receive evolutionary information, through the sunlight. But look what is happening. people telling us that the sun is dangerous for us, right? It's like we have to question everything. We need to connect with that inner guide and just completely trust it and experience it on ourselves, following that inner voices so we can get feedback from the outside world. And another message that I received, they told me, don't be scared when the multidimensional gates open, because all and everything that is in the subconscious of the collective of this planet will come up. And look where we're coming from. Humans come from a very, very violent history, right? So what we are living right now is like the echo of all that violence from the past. And our generations, or the people that are now conscious and light workers and active in this process, we are here to cut that past, to transcend it, to not judge it, to not suffer, but to integrate all this wisdom, all this knowledge, so we can use it to construct into the future. So they have said, like, you will see the craziest stuff coming up, but it's just for a moment, because it needs to be seen in order to be cleaned, cleared up, and recycled. And they also ask that it's really, really important right now, because we are in a creation process right now. The new earth is being born, right? So they have asked me specifically to ask women to offer their moon blood to the earth, because this is the purest and most powerful creative force that we have. And as we give this blood to the Mother Earth doesn't need to claim that blood through catastrophes, through wars and violence. So the more women offer their moon blood, the less blood will be shed on Earth.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yes, that's very interesting to hear. And perhaps it can also ritualistically help for the women to be aware of the energy that they carry, and it can tip the scale so that the wisdom from the women comes from empowered women who are really connected to the earth again and not are stuck in superficial personas where they want to be, for example, beautiful, or they want to be right. But where they're the mother goddess coming back, holding the vessel for the seed to manifest our future, like literally speaking. And many more women I see, they are coming together in groups again to empower themselves, and I'm very happy to see that this happens again, that the women come together and are finding their reconnection with each other instead of seeing one another as competitors, for example.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm also very happy that this is happening. I also still want to give a little message to the women, right? There's a lot of very ancient resentment against the male energy. So I want also to ask all these self-empowered goddesses and fairies, all these women that are discovering their powers, to remember that it's just a natural balance of male and female. Don't get over-empowered. Give male the space that they need, so we have also a balance between the female and the male energy, because what I observe right now is also that the women get too empowered, right? It's understandable. It's understandable if you look from where we're coming. Women have suffered so much in the last thousands years, right? So of course there are women that maybe still carry unconscious resentment, or that feel overpowered now and they enjoy putting men down, right? So I just want to make this call to my sisters, like, please be in your very soft female energy. Try to find out what the role is of the female, but not alone. We are not bigger, stronger, better, whatever than men. We need to come together as a unity, and it can only happen if we also help the men to find their place again and to express their feelings and to open up all these spaces that they didn't have available in the last thousands of years, right? So just to be very mindful about all this empowering energy, and the same power as the woman has with the blood, the man has it as well with his semen, right? This is also a creative energy. And I've heard the rabbis talk about this coronavirus, the Jewish rabbinos. They say that it's a manifestation of earth because the semen of the man is getting cold. It's been misused. All our creative energy that is supposed to be focused on creating the new world, the dream, the seed that we all carry inside, is flowing somewhere else. And it's very important that we focus all these energies on that purpose right now, because the timelines are shifting and the stargates open and they will close, right? So now is a time of a filtering. I see it like a filter, and depending on which frequency you're holding, this will determine in which dimension you will end up when this process is done.
Yes, and we better end up in the dimension of the light and the source energy field. Is there anything else that you feel like sharing right now before you share how people can find you and watch your videos, etc.?
The most important thing right now is to keep up our energy vibration, our torites, right? We have these energy bodies around us which are all connected to something that is called the morphogenetic field. These are the invisible vibrations that are connecting everything in the universe. We know that by now the Schumann frequency of the planet rised up to 120, which is really crazy because it's been on 7.5 for the last, since humankind are measuring the frequency, it's been in 7.5. So what does it mean? It means that conductivity and telepathy and all the traveling information, it's much faster now than it's been ever before. So we can use that. We can use this energy to unify in the emotion. This is what we need. In order to manifest, we need to link it to an emotion. So imagine yourself in that future that we all dream into existence, to see how our brothers and sisters from other dimensions are helping us from their realms to resolve problems that our human brain cannot even imagine the answers. Actually, they have told me, because I asked them, right? I asked, how is this gonna happen? How will this cleanup of the planet look like? And they said, oh, little one, you don't worry. You just put the intention and you walk step by step. You make a movement in the physical world and we are all behind you, and through you we will do everything. So you don't worry about the answers, the solutions. You just put the intention, you have the vision in the future, and everything else will happen as if it was magic, right? Because we cannot see them, but we know that they are there and they are guiding us and they are preparing us, right? So if someone is receiving a message or is feeling a call to do something, even if it feels very insignificant, please do it, because there is a large force behind it and you're actually moving a lot. So it's very important now to look at our words. What kind of words am I using? Because my words manifest. It's important how I treat other people and how I feel. Very important. So a lot of work is not so much changing stuff outside or changing the ideas of other people. It's more about how can I get myself more into peace and harmony so my toroid is moving healthy in a way that it can connect, and everything that is necessary will just flow through me and I will naturally know it. Right? So actually we just need to be happy, joyful, and hold this frequency. Be there for each other, understand and know what are the priorities in life, right? Moments that we remember, that we share with people, listen, be there for them, not trying to change anybody, not judging anybody, but if someone falls, just being there and open the arms. That's it.
So true. That is so true. Well, that's well said. Thank you for sharing that. And the modalities of healing that you use, how can people find you?
Well, unfortunately, the quantum healing hypnosis technique that I'm using for the regressions can only be made in person because it involves hypnosis and we are not allowed to do it by on the internet. But the good news is that there's an official page of Dolores Cannon, who is the creator and of this technique and my teacher. She has also written more than 18 books on that subject and a lot of testimonies and informations about the universe and our brothers and sisters in our other dimensions. So she has a page where you can find a practitioner list, an international practitioner list. So if you are somewhere else, not in Mexico, and you are not able to do the therapy here, you can just go into the site dolorescannon.com, and then you just look for the button of the practitioner list. And I really, really recommend everybody to do this at least once in their lifetime to understand the nature of this existence. Because just by remembering other lives, you get a whole new perspective on this life. And it's this technique, QHHT, is different than a simple regression, because a simple regression is just like a trailer of a movie and that's it. You don't get any other background information. What's interesting on this therapy is that we contact the higher self and the Akashic record, and we can just ask whatever we want, whatever. There's answers for everything, right? Yeah, and if you want to come to Mexico, I have changed my location. I am not in Malinalco anymore. That was the place, the sacred place of the Eagle Warriors, right? Malinalsochi. I was called to move to another place. I am now living in Tepoztlan, which is the birthplace of the legendary feathered snake, Quetzalcoatl. And there's also a prophecy about this feathered snake, and it's actually not a being, it's a consciousness. It represents the serpent going up into the sky and becoming the overview of what is happening, right? And this is in a way what I've been explaining, that we need to get out of duality and become this I am observer. This is the state of being a feathered snake. We observe our lower human instincts from a higher perspective, but we still allow ourselves to be humans in this human experience. We also don't judge that humanity, right? Because a lot of people that are light workers right now, they are judging and resisting a lot, and they are obviously not seeing that they are splitting again. So it's very, very important to unify everything. It's important in our daily lives, that we first scan what is happening around me, what are the signs around me, and then act. Not like before. We have been trained to make a plan and then go step by step mentally to reach a goal. This is not going to happen anymore, right? We need to see, what is the universe giving me as a sign? How does it resonate with me? And then we get the inner guide. I forgot to say before, when I was talking about the inner GPS and the heart, that we have physical sensations that are confirmations also when we hear truth, especially when we go through internet and we have so many biased informations. How do we know what is true? You will know it when you start to train the inner communication with the physical body. I get goosebumps, or I get a noise in my ear. I've heard some people get hot ears when they get this sign from the higher self. So I also want to invite you, each of you, to find your personal language that is using your higher self through the physical body with you, so you can recognize when there's a signal. And then just trust it, follow and experience. And the more you will experience and the more feedback you receive, that is such a wonderful, wonderful state of being. You know, I wake up every day and I'm so excited to see what's going to happen. And I really don't need to understand or to know what's going to happen, because I trust so much that I want the universe to surprise me. I know it's going to be even better than the dream that I have as a vision in my heart. And this is what I want to inspire everybody. Like, keep on dreaming, dream wild, because we are the artists. We are painting that hologram, and it's time to change the artists.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely it is. And that's why we are doing this, to inspire the people to come out of the cocoon and start to be like a bird coming from the egg, expanding the wings and flying high and free and connecting with all that is.
And something else, I mean, I have come out only maybe 1 year ago with all these informations, because I was not really interested in putting myself into the center of attention. You know, I didn't want to be any YouTube guru, nothing. But I was really pushed by these higher beings, because they say, push your ego away. It's not about you. We really need you avatars being activated and transmitting the messages that need to be transmitted. So put aside your personal importance. It's not about us, but it's really important that we have that we're not ashamed in these times to come out and tell our message. That's really, really important, that now everybody steps forward. Each of us, each human has a little piece of that puzzle, right? And it's really needed that now everybody comes forward with whatever gift they have. Now is the time. We cannot be asleep, because the timelines are changing. And it's happening very, very fast. So be the warrior you came here to be. Avatars, please wake up. We've been training for this so long. We have had all the informations. We had medicine. The message is very clear. The message is always the same. Love is the only truth. Come back to love. Connect into the heart and dream big.
Thank you, Senya.
Thank you, Torsten. Thank you for having me and sharing that.
I now have tears in my eyes, because I know what you say is true.
I have shivers and goosebumps all over.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, they're happy. They're happy. It's all happening. It's happening now. And I just want to tell you, it's going to be such a beautiful surprise. Right now, the cleanup is going on. And behind the scenes, like while we are locked up in quarantine, everything is being restructured and recycled. And we are in quarantine because they love us and they want to protect us and they don't want us to freak out. So just enjoy your families, nature, be creative, and do what you have come here to do.
So we let you go now and you continue living your life in all the dream that's manifesting through you. And thank you, Senya. May you be protected and enjoy your family. And say hi to Mexico for me. I'll be there one day again.
I wait for you. Yeah, blessings to you. Thanks for your work as well.